Number 8.
With permission, Mr. Speaker, I'll answer questions 8, 20 and 23 together. We have made significant progress in negotiations and are confident that we will secure a deal with the European Union. However, as a responsible government, we are continuing to prepare for all possible outcomes.
Thank you. There has been recent press speculation that the Government is considering emergency measures which would include the stockpiling of food and medicines. Can the Minister confirm if that is accurate, and if so, what would be the distribution proposals for those stockpiles?
Department's plans are well developed and are designed to respond to all scenarios, including the unlikely possibility that we'll leave the EU without a deal. Some contingency plans have already become evident, and more will become public over the coming weeks.
Giles Watling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If, in the end, there is no deal, can my honourable friend assure me that the Government's contingency plans will take into account often overlooked areas like Clacton?
Yes, Clacton, Mr. Speaker, is never overlooked by its Member of Parliament. The Government is engaging with businesses and other stakeholders in every region of the United Kingdom to understand the challenges and opportunities that may impact them. We will be consulting later this year on the new UK Shared Prosperity Fund, which will give us the opportunity to consider carefully how we address barriers to growth, tackle inequalities faced by all areas of the country, including rural and coastal areas like my right honourable friend's constituency of Clacton.
Alan Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Government's own analysis shows that no deal will be a financial disaster, and this week the Bank of England Governor warned that a no-deal Brexit would have big economic consequences for the UK. Now, the White Paper was a sham, just talking about exploring options. Does he agree the Government needs to actually do a lot more on explore options, work hard on getting a deal, rather than face up this no-deal scenario?
I thank the honourable gentleman for his question, and obviously, we would much prefer to have a very good deal with the European Union than not, and so that's why all the work, most of the work in my department is focused on that. But we do have to prepare for every scenario, and I'd like to finish off the gentleman that the honourable gentleman quoted by saying that the financial consequences for the EU would be far greater.
Steve Baker.
Mr. Speaker, I congratulate my honourable friend on his new position. There's absolutely no one that I would rather see in his job at this time, and I wish him every possible success. Can I say to him that papers available to him will show that as long ago as October I was seeking to create a parliamentary moment to galvanise all of government to prepare not only for the unwanted contingency of no deal, but for all scenarios, including the end of the implementation period. Will he now use this collective agreement reached at Chequers to go out and galvanise the whole of government to deliver, knowing that it's not something that DEXU can direct? It will require the very top of government to mobilise every department.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my honourable friend for his question and for leaving me an unbelievable quantity of reading to do because of the diligent way in which he prepared for every scenario, as he rightly says.
Mr. Peter Grant.
Mr Deputy Speaker, can I welcome the Secretary of State and the Minister to their places, welcome both of their elevation to the position of governing classes, and I look forward, given that his predecessor has now chosen to reveal some of what was in unpublished Cabinet papers, we can expect to see the rest of them published quite soon. Mr Speaker, today Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary for England and Wales have warned police forces that they need to be ready for an increase in hate crime after we leave the European Union. Does that take the Government by surprise?
Yeah.
I thank the honourable gentleman for his question, and I had not heard that particular report, so I cannot comment on it. But what I can say, in preparing for a no deal, we have already recruited 300 extra border staff to police our borders, and we have an ongoing programme to recruit a whole load more.
Mr Speaker, with the greatest of respect, hate crime is not committed by people that come in across our borders, it's committed by people who are already here, all too often provoked by irresponsible and inflammatory language by people who really should know much better. So can I say to him again, Did the government realise before this report came out today that Brexit, either intentionally or unintentionally, would create a climate in which hate crime was more likely to take place?
I'm afraid I don't recognise the basis for that question at all. I don't believe that in the slightest. And I can only point out to the honourable gentleman that there were a group of people called the Cybernats that weren't particularly pleasant in the run-up to the Scottish referendum.
Dr. Sarah Wollaston.
Crashing out with no deal looks increasingly likely, particularly as former members of the government have stated that they intend to undermine it. What's needed now is a plain English guide to the consequences of no deal for individuals, families, communities and businesses. Will the Minister commit to publishing that so people can see the consequences and step further away from the edge of the cliff?
As my right honourable friend knows, it's only a matter of time. Everything comes to those who wait, Mr. Speaker. As my honourable friend knows, as chairman of the liaison committee, the Prime Minister said yesterday that a whole bunch of technical notices will be coming forward, which will detail exactly that sort of notice.
Al Williams.
Here, Mr. Speaker, we have already heard a great deal about no deal and potential problems at Dover. What plans has the government in respect of the second busiest roll-on-roll-off ports in the UK, that is at Holyhead?
My honourable friend, the member for Worcester, fellow minister in the department, has already been to Holyhead to met with the port of Holyhead, and I look forward to going around the country and visiting these places and listening to what people have to say.
Peter Aldous.